Welcome to the May edition of Games I Want to Play. I am your host, Alan of Reimaru Files. This is a monthly series where I review the releases coming for the month and tell you which ones I think are good or interesting games to pick up. Last month we had a couple of fighters and it looks like people are gonna be fine with the brawling for a while, though Mortal Kombat certainly isn't going to let you have an easy time grinding for those cosmetics. And Days Gone seems to have its heart in the right place, but there have been posts here and there about how it has a lot of crash bugs. However, recently there was a patch released and that seems to have answered most of the issues. Anyway, for the month of May, bigger publishers seem to have generally decided to keep their projects in development or just update what's already out, or just release what's already out again, maybe on other platforms. So for this month, we're going to be giving more time to the not so popular developers. I guess you can call them the indies. Anyway, a bit more than the usual caught my eye, so let's get on with it. Total War 3 Kingdoms. Total War has already made a name for itself as a capable developer when it comes to strategic war titles, so them expanding to the warring kingdoms of China seems like a natural, if not expected, step for their studio. It features two types of campaign missions: Romance, which is based on the more popular Romance of Three Kingdoms story, and Records mode that's based on known historical records of certain battles. On top of that, there's new features for this game that focuses more on the personalities acting in the war, like well-known warlords or generals, maybe soldiers, spies, and the relationships formed between them. So Total War with a new diplomatic and espionage dimension to it sounds pretty cool, and I'm legitimately looking forward to how they plan to bring this big historical story to life. Observation. So here we have yet another space station horror game. Or is it? Sure, Observation appears to be showing the usual suspects for what you'll find in this kind of game. Lonely, eerie settings, being unsure of what's going on around you, maybe unsure if someone is watching just beyond where you can see. Now, if you think you're an astronaut left to fend for himself, that's where the game kinda decides to twist it a bit. Instead of playing as a lone human, you are now playing as the assisting AI within the space station's facilities to help your residents get out with their lives. And that's pretty interesting because it sets a new set of restrictions instead of how you'd normally typically be running around alone in this more or less empty vessel. I have a feeling this is going to be something like Five Nights at Freddy's, but this time you're trying to help who you're keeping an eye on instead of keeping them away from you. It's certainly an interesting way to apply a genre known to do something completely different, and that could make a very unique and interesting experience, so yeah, totally into that. Project Nimbus Complete Edition. I like robots and I seriously miss Armored Core. Daemon X Machina seems to be in developer limbo, so Project Nimbus may be the one to provide me with the flying mecha action that everyone seems to have forgotten about. Yes, another mecha game, yes, it's also another re-release, but I'm going to keep beating this drum until I get a good new mecha game. Titanfall 2 was great and we need more of it. Anyway, Project Nimbus has actually already been released some time ago on PS4, but now it's getting a Switch release, which also includes the improvements they've applied thus far. Now, ever since their Kickstarter, they haven't been shy about the Armored Core inspirations this title is heavily based on, and to be honest, I'm attracted to it for the same reason. While I'm sure it probably won't be as thoroughly designed or as polished as Armored Core itself, I can see that they were focusing on making more enjoyable gameplay instead of heavily convoluted ones, which I see as a net positive. Also, I haven't played it, so a Switch port seems to be a perfect place for me to start. Team Sonic Racing. The trailer for the Sonic movie suddenly dropped and I honestly don't know how to react to that. But hey, it's probably better to just wait and let the knee-jerk reaction pass. Anyway, the racing genre is naturally a home to Sonic and his friends, and you'll be challenged to find a studio more at home with making racing games than Sumo Digital. One look at their track record and you know that the game is in good hands. So far, what we can see is that there seems to be a significant amount of customization available to tweak the performance of your race car, but just having one good racer won't be enough this time. All three members of your team are considered when judging placement. The two extra members make for a new set of interesting strategies to use while playing a racing game, and it hasn't been made clear how multiplayer will pan out, but this looks like a good G-rated experience for those who are looking for something to share gaming with on more G-rated crowds. So it's pretty perfect for those family gatherings and similar social situations. And being able to share your interests through legitimately good-looking games is a reward in itself. So yeah, this one's on my radar. Valhalla. When I look at this game, I somehow immediately recall Papers, Please. Playing the role of a bartender, you now have to study and respond to the interactions you make with the many personalities that come ask you for a drink. It can be as simple as following a recipe they specifically ask for, or you'll have to guess what they really want by how they talk to you. Honestly, the game seems very simple, but it looks like it's ready to tell a story that's told between the lines. Shaking that up by playing the popular role of being the barkeep sounds like a fun way of interacting with the many walks of life you encounter. This is probably one of those games you won't be playing for very long, but some games don't require that many hours of investment to get a satisfying experience and a lasting impression out of it. Certainly, it has the balls to be very different, and for that, I'm willing to give it a whirl. Vambrace Cold Soul. This one looks like it's a solid RPG where you take on the role of an adventurer who has to travel some frozen wasteland to find some answers. Featuring a few races and classes to boot, it looks like a kind of game where you can mix and match your party to how you like it and play. Now, that kind of thing really sets off my interest because experimenting with builds and mechanics is one thing I can do for hours if a game allows me to. The trailers don't reveal much in terms of a unique experience, but the quality of the production looks pretty promising. And perhaps it doesn't really have anything too new or unique about it, but if this is executed well, particularly with how far you can take your character builds, it may very well be a good time sink for me. Lapis Labyrinth. Nippon Ichi Software has always had a place in my heart since the age of PlayStation 1. They were able to make colorful characters, a lot of self-aware humor, and a crazy grind you'll never escape from. Lapis Labyrinth gives us some of that side-scrolling 2D action with a bit of a gimmick when it comes to carrying your party around by literally carrying your party around. You can have up to 4 members to swap between, allowing you to perform different roles and setups freely. With appealing, cute characters that you won't get tired of looking at, and potentially engaging mechanics, I can practically see the hours drain away staring at this cute little dungeon grind. Crazy, flashy, and quick seems to describe this title perfectly judging from the trailers, which is a devastating combination for my productivity. But a total goldmine if you're the type that likes to sneak in maybe 10 to 15 minutes of farming at random points during the day. So that's it for our preview games coming out this May. Of course, those aren't the only titles coming out this month. Here's a quick list of what else is coming out for the month of May 2019. Do you have games that you'd like us to talk about? We'd love to hear from you. We do value your feedback, so if you do, go ahead and tell us. Of course, if you like this video, do drop us a like as that helps us a lot. It makes our content easier to find online, and of course, that's something we do appreciate. If you'd like to check out our other stuff, you can find more videos off our YouTube channel and our articles on our site, reimarufiles.com. You can also catch us on the usual social media as shown here, where we post some light event coverage and usually some memes, usually from me. You can also come talk to us if you'd like. We do love hearing from you after all. So that's it for now. Until next time, stay classy.